One of the most confusing things that we see with people who are new to the industry, or sometimes, frankly, people who are stuck in the middle of the industry, there's this perception that it's a one-track industry, and it's absolutely not true. If you're an emerging leader, or if you're mentoring and leading emerging leaders, we're here to help you understand through Cole's example that there's a whole different track that you want to take. You just have to be obsessed about something and have your mind made up to do something different. Welcome to the PioneerCast. I'm Dwayne Abels, founder and president of Pioneer IQ. We're back in the leadership series. This whole series is based on a leadership journey. The myth that we're trying to bust is that our industry is a one-track industry, and we certainly aren't that. The hope is that you or anybody else that you're mentoring starts to find something else that you're passionate about. You connect with a leader somewhere around you in the industry, in the job that you're in, or maybe even in your community, and you get connected to doing what you want to do versus being forced in what you think you're supposed to do. We're on site at a completely different place. You've never seen this before. I've only been in here one time. Normally we're in the studio, but today we're in Square Foot Studios. Square Foot Studios is been completely launched and imagined by my friend Cole Turner here, who's joining us today. I'm excited to talk about the studio. I'm excited to talk about your vision for this. I'm excited to talk about how it's going to impact the industry, because I think it's going to have a lot of impact on the experience that people have when they're actually buying pieces and elements, especially on flooring, for their big projects. So I'm excited to talk about it. Thanks for being here with us, brother.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on. This is going to be a lot of fun. So
when I walked in here, I didn't have any expectations other than what I saw on your highlight reel for your showcase event, right?
Right.
But this place is absolutely freaking amazing, man.
Thank you.
It's amazing. You walk in here and you know what I'm used to seeing is a kind of a dirty warehouse with a bunch of dust on the floor and things stacked everywhere. But you walk in here, man, and it's just absolutely phenomenal, gorgeous. Was that
Thank you.
part of what you were going for here?
Yeah, I'd say we really wanted a elevated design experience. So like you mentioned, there's a lot of things around town that are a little bit maybe run down or don't kind of give the most aesthetic appeal. And so we're working with developers and contractors and architects and designers. We really wanted to bring in something that was high-end, very elegant feeling, and that's what we shot for.
Awesome. I'm excited to get into that, and we will get into that in detail. We'll even show you around. It's an amazing backdrop, but the rest of this place is absolutely amazing as well. It was kind of cool. I walk in and there's 3 or 4 clients up front, and you just opened this place up and we got all this hustle and bustle. It's exciting to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk about your journey. We have not featured a leader, frankly, at this stage of their career so far within this whole leadership journey series. And I'm really excited to have you tell us the story of where you've come from, who impacted your life, how you got to this moment, and then helping us to understand, like, what's the bigger vision here and how you hope it actually impacts the industry. So I'm excited to get into all that. Before we get too far into that, Cole, give us a little bit of a background. Just kind of get back just real quickly. Who are you? Who do you work for? What are you currently doing? And how do you think it's impacting your world?
Yeah. Well, Cole Turner, born and raised in Olathe, Kansas. So Olathe West, go Owls. From there, I transitioned on to college. So went to K-State, go Cats, and was able to do a fraternity there. I spent 3 years there. So throughout high school, I did credits through Johnson County Community College, which was an absolute blessing. Highly recommend to anyone listening or watching, go down that path if you can. It allowed me to graduate a year early, which was a year of money not spent. So from there, transitioned into the family-owned company, so Turner Ceramic Tile, to where now I head up our business development, marketing, and now I'm taking on this lovely beast of Square Foot Studios. So our all-new flooring showroom for all of our commercial clients and soon-to-be residential clients out there.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to tell this story. I hope I can articulate it well enough, but the way that you and I met is not the normal way that we typically run into and meet leaders, right? Normally we're in the industry and we're meeting people at certain places, or we're working with a firm and I get to meet a leader with an extraordinary journey and get to feature them just like we did with Chris Magneron at J.E. Dunn or some of these other ones. But yours is different. So if you think about the 12 Strong program and you think about personal pathing, which is the program that we take people through in that first degree of leadership to really help them get clarity around their personal purpose. We have a model there that talks about these 6 areas of your life that as a leader, you have to be really intentional about so that you're actually living the life and achieving the life and the vision that you want for yourself. And in that model, there's an area there around community. And this story kind of starts for me in that community box for my life and my vision. So just to give a little backdrop, I ran into Cole. We moved our family out to the west side of Olathe several years back. It was a part of our family vision that had been for maybe 8 or 9 years. We get into school, we get into football, and quickly we get into me and Amber are going to get involved in our community. We ran into Josh Turner, obviously your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh had done a phenomenal job of building a booster club and creating some phenomenal programs inside the booster club that just absolutely do a lot of things for the football program and the community as a whole. And my wife felt called to go in and become the boot camp president, and there was a transition there, and Josh helped out. Anyway, great relationship with Josh. And then through that process of football and booster club and the friendship, I ran into you. And I think I tried to recruit you in high school, matter of fact. Just I knew from the get-go, like, this dude's got something.
He wined and dined me.
Yeah, right. But as we were kind of getting to know each other, I just kind of got really bought into who you were, what your life was about. You were driven from the get-go. And I really always admired and appreciated that. So let's go back to that and fill us in on, you've already mentioned growing up in Olathe, but walk us through your journey. Help us understand what the phases of your life were. And as we talk through those phases, what were there people in those different phases of your life, high school, K-State, early on in your career, that really helped you to either confirm your thinking about your career and our industry, got you on the right track, or just had some sort of an influence or impact on you? So as we walk through that, take us back to high school and talk us through your journey, starting at that level.
Yeah, well, throughout high school, with it being a family-owned company, I feel like I've worked in it forever. So, was out installing, delivering, and that was kind of my day job of what I was going to do after school. But in terms of school, I mean, loved it, had a great time, had a lot of friends, played on the football team, played baseball, was able to kind of start kicking up the leadership journey there in terms of having a group of guys and going to accomplish something great. So, did that. It came time for senior year, and it was really the question of, do I go to college or do I just go straight to work?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I had the sin to go out and immediately start working in the field after high school, or I could make the jump. So being a first generation college student, I didn't really know what I was doing, which I think was kind of the beauty of it because I went into it a little bit blind. So I followed the pack, which we hear a lot, and I ended up at K-State, which I'm so glad I did. And then it came across of, well, do I do a fraternity? And you hear stereotypes about fraternities and things that go on with them. And yet again, made the jump and absolutely loved it. So made some of the best connections I have today throughout the fraternity. The construction industry is absolutely packed with both K-State and my fraternity alone. So it was a great time there.
What fraternity was it?
I was in Phi Delta.
Okay, Phi Delta.
So yeah, so we were a 120 member chapter. My pledge class was sitting right at about 32. So 32 of your best friends. And but yeah, so I graduated a year early, like I mentioned, throughout Johnson County, doing the credits there. So all my buddies are still back there finishing up their final semester now. And so yeah, it was really now a question of, doing internships and that aspect. So when it came my sophomore to junior year, technically senior year transitioning, I wanted to work in the office. So had been out working in the field for, 6 or 7 years. And I wanted something different. I was going to school for that, study entrepreneurship, business, always stayed around the construction realm, worked for a local general contractor there in Manhattan. And so I wanted to hop into that. And I always heard about this thing of business development. And I thought, what is this? This is something the company doesn't have. Is it something that we could utilize? And so yeah, I told my dad, Josh, that I wanted to give this a shot. And he said, go for it and figure it out. And so that's what I've done. And I've had an absolute blast doing it. I've met amazing people. I talk with anybody and everybody, developers, contractors, architects, designers, doesn't matter who it is. And so I did my internship. It was 12 weeks, and we actually found value in the position, which was great. And so, yeah, so from there, it really rolled over into me doing this now full time, which I started back in June. So we're right about 8-ish, 9-ish months of full time. And yeah, it's been a blast. I've loved it. And now we're able to expand and now officially open Square Foot Studios about 2 weeks ago. And we're really hoping this elevates the game in terms of a commercial flooring showroom that brings everyone together on the project team, developers, architects, designers, contractors, and really help them on the material side. So we get into a lot of instances where materials are too expensive and there's too much cost related to it and we're over budget. And, there's always options to just throw some VE options and go that route. But if we can really bring them in here and save them immense amounts of money on these 40, 50, $100 million projects, it's worth it for us. And, we enjoy just helping out our clients.
Yeah, the fantastic overview of kind of your journey. Kind of going back to your high school, what's really interesting about you is it seems like early on you had construction in your blood. Like even I would say like junior high, maybe earlier on, you just kind of had that feeling or that piece in your blood. And it seemed like you were able to get on job sites at an early age. Do you feel like that impacted your first couple of steps of your journey?
100%. I mean, it's one thing to try and sell someone flooring installation or flooring in general. But no matter of fact, whatever you sell, you need to make sure you actually know what you're talking about. And so I started working for the company back when I was 14. I hit job sites at the age of 15.
Mm-hmm.
And it really gave me a first insight on to how job sites are ran, the people that are involved in those projects, and to know that construction is a very hard industry. So it really matters about who's around you and the team that you have to really get through that.
What was it? So I can relate to that because I started in the construction industry when I was 13 as well. So what was it when you were young that lured you to it? What was it that just kind of got you and said, man, I just love this? What was it at that age?
I think it's the fact that growing up in a family business, I mean, living at home, having my dad, Josh, obviously run turn tile and having conversations at the age of 14 about different business aspects that maybe not everyone gets to have right there at their disposal. So it created this obsession of business and client success and really overall just retention of how do we better serve clients? How do we differentiate from everyone else? Because there's always competitors.
Yeah.
And if I'm sitting down at a table with my other 7 competitors, what's going to make me different if all of our bids are the exact same amount?
Yeah.
And that's my goal I've been focusing on.
Yeah. So thinking back in high school, it sounds like the most influential person or impactful person might have been Josh, right? Your dad. Was there anybody else that during high school that was really influential on you?
I would say my dad was super influential. My grandpa owns a glazing company.
Yeah.
So it was always great talking with him, another business owner. So they always say that you yourself are the best of your 5 friends and your 5 closest people. And I 100% believe in that, because if you can surround yourself with entrepreneurs and highly driven people, that's really going to come off on you. And I 100% think it does, because I don't think I'd be how I am today or where I am today.
I think
without those people.
I think that's a great point. And I think most people early on do not understand that. How did your vision and what you wanted to do at an early age determine the type of people that you hung around?
It was really, I heard the quote and I thought, okay, well, friends are great. I mean, I'm not saying go out there and totally, kick all your friends to the curb, but it was the aspect of knowing that I wanted to succeed in life. It was the aspect of knowing that I'm always hungry. Satisfaction is always ahead of me. I don't know if I'll ever catch it, but that's the beauty of it. And so it really was about just reaching out and trying to be around people that kind of had that same mindset. Yeah. So yet again, still enjoy your friends, but go out there and find people that are older than you. I mean, a lot of people I talk with today are, 30, 40 years older than me, and they've been down this path. And so I just try to be a sponge and soak it all up.
You have done a great job with that. We have several clients that we've introduced you to. You were obviously in a boot camp, which we'll cover here in a minute, but you do a great job of just feeling like you're supposed to be in the room with those folks and really connecting with them, but also, let's use the term, leveraging them, which is important, right?
Yeah.
You do a great job with that. So in college, right, you're at K-State, you're doing entrepreneurship and you're doing the construction stuff. Was there anybody in college that you would say was instrumental in keeping you on this path, or confirming this path being the right path for you?
Yeah. It was one of those deals that I always tossed up in my mind of, I've worked in the family company for a long time. Do I need to go out and explore other options? And after interviewing with people and other companies from a wide variety of industries, it really came to me that the family company that's been around now since 1979, I wanted to carry that on after my dad's time's up or whatever it may be. And so I knew, I could go work for someone else and work in a large corporation and have the big office job that everyone seeks, especially at my age nowadays. Construction is not always the, bright future people have anymore. And so when I really transitioned to that thinking, I totally put everything to the side and I thought, you know what, Turner Ceramic Tile is where I want to be. It's what I want to do. And, to say, I think we just hit, we're close to 50 years of being in business. And so my dad's a younger guy, so we've got more time with him heading things up. But for me to have the opportunity to come in and, maybe take that over after him and reach our 100th year and have people to follow that, I think would be something really cool. And I think that's what kind of drove me to go down this direction.
That's what I was getting at. I was really curious because my oldest boy, Sam's at K-State, in part to some conversations that he had with you, but you said something that I think is really important. So if you're a high school student or someone that's early in their career or contemplating a career, I think the two things that Cole's just mentioned are really important. Number one, make sure you're hanging out with high performer, high achiever type people who are focused on doing something extraordinary, not just something fun, although fun's important. And then number two, I think it's really important for you to really look at all of your options and contemplate them. And I think the second clue that you gave us is critical, and people oftentimes do not do this. Find people that you can interview who've been down the path, which that sounds like you've done, and get their opinion on what you're thinking and what they would recommend your next steps being. And I'm telling you, there's a myth here. I promise you without a shot of a doubt that 80% of anybody that you walk up to or you connect with, they want to talk to you. I mean, did you ever
100%.
find anybody said, Cole, get the hell out of here? Did it?
No, and I think that's the beauty of it is everyone is scared of the rejection part and the big word no.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be because the way I look at it is, if I don't know you and I reach out and you still don't want to know me, I lost nothing. It was no, but I could reach out and you could say yes, and now I'm gaining valuable experience and knowledge from what you have learned before that I can now take in, soak in, and transmit further down the road.
So, okay. So that was one of the things I had thought a lot about in preparing for this podcast with you. And frankly, as I've kind of watched you, you're in so many circles. I mean, literally, I have clients say, if Cole's going to be there, I might give him a call. I mean, literally, people know you. And that's interesting because that can connect the dots with all these people that you sat down and began to interview, started connecting you to things, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And that became how you built, is that how you built your circle of influence?
Yeah, I would say it's been a great mixture between reaching out, wanting to get in front of people, getting the opportunity to get in front of people, and then they're like, "Oh, you should meet so and so." And the way I like to look at it is, it's like a real life LinkedIn. You meet someone, you connect with someone, and they're like, "Oh, here's 10 people in my spider web," and those 10 people give you 10 more people, and next thing you know, you slowly build out. And it's been awesome. I've been able to meet a lot of people very quick, which has been a lot of fun. And I'm excited for what's ahead.
I mean, it's really interesting. I'm glad we're on this path right now in terms of a topic, because most people think that you've got to be 30 or 40 or 10 years into your career with this big circle of influence, and you've done a phenomenal job of building a great circle of influence. I mean, y'all even sponsored boot camp of ours at Corrigan Station here last year, and that was one of our biggest events, in part because of your network and the people that showed up. It was fantastic. But I think that's another third clue. If you're an emerging person, emerging leader, if you're trying to find your way and you're willing to start reaching out to people, to ask them questions, to pick their brain, and to ask them for some direction on what they think you should do. The tip here is that I think people get bought into your vision.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to go talk to them and you start to connect with them and you get a relationship and they're giving you some feedback, I think people get bought into you as a person and what you're doing, and I think they feel like they're part of your journey.
Yeah. It's a part of the success factor that everyone really enjoys. If you can help someone out and make a great connection for them that's going to bring them value, or you can go out and help them in some way. I think there's a lot of value in that people enjoy being a part of, and I know I sure do. I mean, if I can connect someone that is valuable for them, that maybe they are having troubles to get in front of, or it's going to help them in some way, it does make you feel like you're a part of their journey, which is really cool.
Just to give you perspective, and check Cole out online, get on LinkedIn. You'll see this for yourself. I'm telling you, Cole, you're a couple of years into this. I think maybe a year or two into this thing, and you have a network that's a size of most of the average executives that I work with. I mean, you have a phenomenal network here. So it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, I've really tried to take that into account, and especially with my role as business development, I'm really trying to bring a new surface to Turner Tile, to my own brand, and kind of what we stand for. So
yeah. Well, let's talk about that now. So talk to us a little bit about Square Foot Studios. Talk to us about your original vision, and talk us through what you hope happens here, or what's been happening here just the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it really came down to I was in college, actually, so was finishing up my last semester. My dad called me. We talked all the time, nonstop business, how the company's doing, things like that. So even though I was at college, I was still in tune with a lot of things. And he kind of presented this opportunity about something he kind of found, and something that we could potentially really bring to the market. And at first, I was hesitant, I would say. And it really was the vision part of actually drawing it out, laying it out, and seeing what this looks like. And so we jumped fully in. My dad and mom, did the entire design aspect, and kind of the idea of what this was going to be like. And I was fortunate enough to really jump in, and help bring this thing to life and try to get off the ground. So we spent a lot of time. We took it over back in June, did a full gut remodel, trying to, bring a new life and vision to design. Like you mentioned before, not something that just kind of run down, something that you walk in and you're like, whoa. And so that's kind of where we're at now. And we house everything now from tile, carpet, hardwood, laminates. We're sitting right here in our panel tile section, and a wide variety of everything. So kind of jumping in, though, to what we hope this is going to be. So as I mentioned before, we try to work a lot with developers. That's who I really enjoy talking with, especially. And so it's a matter of how do we give a number on their project to what's currently spec'd out, and then how do we save your money, which we get asked a lot. Why would you ever want to go in and cut your contract down? You're cutting yourself out of the deal. And it's not that at all, because I'm not worried about one project. I'm worried about the next 10. And doing that is really creating a partnership with everybody on the project team. And how do we save you money so this project's even feasible? If it's over budget, project's probably not happening.
Yeah.
We got to get within a number. And it does nobody good sitting there trying to overcharge and take money when money's not due. And so the vision behind this was, instead of all of our lovely email chains, we go through with different VE options, with materials, things like that.
Yeah.
We now have a central spot in Lenexa, Kansas, vibrant area, where we can bring people, no matter who it is. We've had developers come in, we have architects come in, and really sit down and say, here's what we currently have spec'd out on this project. Here's what we're working on. Here's our number. Here's materials that we found that are alternatives. And how do we save you money, cut down our cost, and make this project progress? And it's a small little piece in terms of when you're talking on these multi-million-dollar jobs. But when you can go in and save tens, hundreds, $1,000s, I think there's a value to that, and that's kind of what we're aiming for. And so that's kind of the vision around Square Foot Studios.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, literally, when I walked in, client of ours, good friend of ours, Austin, was in here, and he's a big time landscape guy in town. Everybody knows him. And I'm like, man, what are you doing here? And he goes, well, they have turf. They have these two other things. And I'm like, I never thought about that. I mean, you have everything from interior to exterior flooring in here. And when you look at it on the wall, you're like, man, this stuff is beautiful. And my first thought, frankly, was, man, it's going to be expensive. And literally the first story out of Cole's mouth was how they just last week saved one of your developers like $300,000 on a project or some crazy amount. I mean, it's true. So when I walk in here, the experience is just so different from what I've seen for 30 years in our industry.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole goal, is, again, that differentiator piece, and how do we be different and bring something new. So you of course have showrooms all around the area, But again, we're highly commercial focused, so everything is commercial pricing. Again, it's not going to be, price gouging. It's commercial pricing. And then how do we bring everything into one? So instead of having to run from one location to another and go all over the place, how do we bring you to one central location that everyone can easily get to and get something solidified then and now, kick out all those email chains and time spent trying to figure out and look at pictures. We got into that a lot of looking at pictures and trying to decide off a picture. A picture will do no justice. Let's have physical samples and kind of roll from there.
I mean, I'm telling you, you mentioned the word samples. I mean, not only do you have samples in here, this place, you're going to see it. I mean, we'll show you around, but these are huge samples. I mean, like we're looking at a 10-foot by 5-foot sample here on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it just makes it easier for you to visualize what you're actually getting into. It's amazing. So I'm really curious, Cole, when I think about being at K-State, Fidel, I mean, you literally, the world is at your fingertips. And you have opportunities literally everywhere at K-State. Sam's there. I've seen it. I think in his first 6 weeks, he had 11 internships offers as freshman year.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? And it's not just because he's Sam Abels. I mean, I think this is pretty normal there.
Yeah.
Would you attest to that?
No, I would agree.
And so I'm sitting here thinking you've got pretty much any contractor, anybody in our industry that you could go interview with at your fingertips. What was it that just solidified your confidence in knowing that you wanted to go into the family business to Turner Tile?
I think it was two things, honestly. One, it means something different when you have the name on your back.
Yeah.
So, being able to actually take over, and come into the company of Turner Tile is something different than going to work, like I mentioned, for a big corporation, to where you are another employee, a part of them. So that was a big thing. And, two, just the aspect of having the opportunity to come to something that I could hopefully eventually down the road, kind of take over that role of leading, for the company. And so, you hear kind of a lot of horror stories when it comes to, private equity companies wanting to come in and buy out a company. And I think there's something truly to be said about a family-owned company that a lot of people, some know, but some don't fully resonate with what that means. And what it means is relationships is what it is. It, obviously everything we do revolves money and contracts and, everything around that. But it's a relationship piece that I wanted to keep afloat rather than having someone come in and buy the company once my dad's time's up and now we're just another number.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Sounds like his influence was pretty significant.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And that's the thing. So if you're in the industry specifically and you've got kids that are, growing up on you, just like most of us have, it's something to be thinking about is those stories that you tell and the words that you use when you're coming home on a good day and a bad day. And I think it's unfortunate that construction's not easy, but it's a phenomenal, very fulfilling industry. But for a lot of folks, sometimes they have a lot of hard days, right? And I think most of us, that's maybe true job sites or our office side, the business side of construction. The stories that you tell and the words that you choose are mission critical to the picture that you're painting for everybody else around you on what it's like to actually be a part of our industry. And I don't think people realize that oftentimes, and we are always curious why people stay in or get out of the industry. And it's interesting to hear that story.
Yeah. I think the big thing is, like you mentioned, some of the good days, some of the bad days, coming home and really resonating with that. So obviously being in a family company, you saw the good days, you saw the bad days. I think the one thing to harp on, though, is that everyone is always so focused on the bad days, and we're always so focused on the negatives, and that will eat you alive. It will, and it will make you think, oh my gosh, this industry, is so hard. There's so many challenges, so many problems. But instead of kind of flipping that and looking at the positives out of the industry, oh my gosh, we, completed this job within a certain amount of time frame. Oh my gosh, we landed this big job. Oh, we made this great connection. We're so looking at it as, half glass empty, not half glass full. And I think when you can really bring that to your home, especially as a business owner and being a part of a business, it makes a total difference.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so not everybody has a family business as an option. That was one of your many options at K-State. A couple of hard questions for you. Do you feel like, with your personal experience and from watching other peers, right? And I mean, this is recent. You have some of your best friends that are graduating K-State right now. Some of your best friends are out in the industry, right? May not have gone to K-State or gone to college. Do you think it's critical that someone have to go to college, or or is that more of just a path that we hear all the time, just an expectation?
Yeah, I would say it's a stereotype that the way you're supposed to go is, you go to high school, you go to college, you do your 4 years, and then you go work the rest of your life, and then you retire. And that's just the way we've always looked at stuff. There's something to be said about all of our different trades out there, though, that are lacking right now, honestly,
Yeah.
because the stereotype is so heavy.
Yes. No doubt.
And so, no, I don't think you have to go to college at all. I think it's great for the connection aspect.
Yeah.
I met a lot of great people. It's something that you can really connect with outside of college. I met a lot of great professional people in this industry because of the K-State connection or my fraternity connection. But in terms of really going out and working, there's nothing wrong with graduating high school and getting to work, because college is all fun and everything. But there's nothing more valuable than actually getting out there and doing the work rather than sitting in the classroom learning it.
Yeah. We talk about this all the time. We were just talking to Justin Gunther at Metro Air, and 2 weeks ago, he had a huge group of guys and gals come out to their big complex. They're a big MEP contractor here in town. And those kids during the day being on that floor and seeing those machines and what they do was really eye-opening. And it's just further enforcing the fact that you absolutely can go right from high school and into the workforce and have a serious impact and a great life. And quite frankly, some of those guys that I know are 2 or 3 years out are making a lot of money. It took me 7 or 8 years to be able to make that money. So it's really kind of rewarding to see, but we've got to get rid of the myth. That's a part of it. If I had to summarize Cole Turner, I would summarize it by simply saying the dude was obsessed. And I think your obsession really drove some tough decisions about who you hung out with and what you did. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah. I mean, there was multiple times when I was at college and, hey, I'm graduating early, and people older than me, my friends, why would you ever do that? You have another year of, to enjoy life. What's going on with you? And it's nothing about that. I enjoyed my time. But it is the obsession that I absolutely love. And when you have an obsession, that obsession really never burns out.
Yeah.
So you always have the same drive you had yesterday. And I've almost found it to increase over time as we grow as a company, as we introduce new things, as I meet new people. And yeah, so I love what I do. It's a grind, and it's rewarding. And then the grind starts again.
Yeah. When we just to give a little background, we asked Cole to come and join us for a boot camp, the 12 Strong Pioneer Leader boot camp, maybe a year and a half ago?
Yeah, around then.
And it was really clear to me when I was watching you present your vision board to a group of senior folks that obsession was what was driving you. And what I would say to you is, if you're listening to this and you're listening to Cole and you're connecting with his journey, you're trying to determine your own journey, I would say to you, step one is you have got to discover what that obsession is for you. Maybe it's something within the industry. Maybe it's a technical part. Maybe it's a non-technical part. Maybe it's about the people in the industry. Maybe it's about being on job sites. Whatever it may be, I would encourage you to explore that, meet people, find out what their obsession is, and start to develop that obsession for you, because that really is what I think the core of your leadership journey has been, is just that pure obsession.
Yeah. No, I would 100% agree.
Is there anything you would say to anybody that we haven't covered that you feel like is really important?
I would say to the younger guys, my things I would cover is, one, age does not deem what you can do. A lot of times people like to think that just because I'm a 20-year-old, kid, if you will, that I can't go talk to a 6-year-old male or female about business and get stuff done. People like to think that that's unheard of. And it's not. It's the obsession, it's the drive, and it's the willingness to do so. When I walk in a room, I never want to feel like I'm, scared or nervous or anything. I want to feel like I'm meant to be there, because I am. At the end of the day, we're all here to be better, grow our companies. And so that would be my number one thing. My number two thing would be, to the younger people especially, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That was something that I got on very early and was able to really start interacting on there. And another thing I'm obsessed with.
Mhm.
I probably spend most of my day on LinkedIn, just trying to connect with new people, see what's going on in the industry. People post a lot of their great projects they're working on. I mean, it's a absolute killer source that I've loved, and highly recommend that if you're young, you get started in that now, because not only does it push your name out there, but you never know what opportunities that can bring.
Now, meaning like even if they're still in school or fresh out of school and on job sites, whatever, but early on.
Always, yeah.
Yeah.
I was 14 years old when I got my first LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yep.
That's
And
crazy.
I've obviously it's evolved over time on how I used it. It was just because I thought, oh, cool, I'm a part of a business platform. But starting now, just getting the name out and having the name be seen. So when it does come time for internships or whatever it may be, you kind of already have a brand, if you will, of who you are.
Yeah. So if you're an existing leader and you're a steward of a ton of new folks that you're leading, or you're helping them define their path, I'm hoping that's something that Cole may have said really spurred some ideas for you, and you're able to give some direction. If you're an emerging person, be it in high school or right out of high school, maybe you're in college, maybe you're on a job site, I want you to know that there's something inside of you that is a trigger. And when you find that trigger, which is what we refer to as your obsession, it will drive you to do extraordinary things. And Cole is a great example of that. This does not exist. I'm in cities all over the country. I've never been in a place like this in this industry segment. And it's been something that Cole just got behind, and he took his obsession and applied it to this. And it's now a real thing. And I would love to have people watch this and come check it out. But I would just encourage you to spend time either in prayer or meditation, or just by experiencing things with other people. Keep your eyes open and find that thing, or help that person that you're leading to find that thing, because our industry is amazing. And there absolutely are a lot of different directions that you can take your leadership journey. Cole, thank you, brother.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we could do this. A lot of fun.
Good. Lead on.